In this lesson, we're going to learn about quartiles and the interquartile range. So a quartile, we need to divide the data into 4 equal parts. So if I start with a data set here, my first thing that I have to do is get them into an ordered list from lowest number to highest number. So I've gone ahead and done that. And then what I have to do is I have to divide them into half. So I find my median mark. And my median now we're going to say is Q2. Okay, so that's the symbol we use for median. And it's the average between that 4 and the 6, the two middle numbers, which is 5. My next step is to divide it into the bottom half and the lower half, or sorry, the upper half. So I divide that lower half, the lower 50% of the marks, into half again. So I find the median there. And then I divide my upper half, my upper 50%, into half again. So of those 6 marks, I take 3 on one side and 3 on the other. And now what you can see is that I've got 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each of those has 3 marks in them. Okay, so this line here, this median here, we call the lower quartile. Okay, it's the median of the lower 50% of the marks. And in this case, it's the median of 3 and 5. Okay, the next one, this one here, we call this the upper quartile, and that's the median of the upper 50% of marks. In our case, it was the average of 7 and 7, which is just 7. So I've drawn this diagram to kind of illustrate what we have. We have 25% of the marks here, 25% of the marks here, 25% of the marks here, and 25% of the marks here. Okay, so the lower quartile is the division between those 25 marks. The median is at the middle spot, and the upper quartile is after 75% of all the marks. So when we want to describe numbers and data in terms of spread, we often use the 5-number summary. So we have the x-min, which is the minimum number. In our case, that would be a 1. The lower quartile we've already found, which is 2.5. I'll put that in there. The median is 5. The upper quartile we found was 7, and the maximum number, you just read it straight off the number set, and it's 9. So that's our 5-number summary. The other thing that we sometimes talk about in terms of data spread is the interquartile range. And the interquartile range, this is the range of values in the middle 50% of all the values. So between the 75% marker and the 25% marker. And all we want to do in this case is just subtract the numbers. So I want to subtract this value, okay, my upper quartile, from my lower quartile. So in our case, it's 7 minus 2.5, which is 5.5. Okay, so let's look at an example. So if I have this number set here, my first step is to order them. So I've put those in order from lowest to highest. We'll get rid of those numbers. Okay, next step, I want to define my minimum number and my maximum number. Okay, so my minimum number would be a 1. My maximum number is 17. Next step, I want to find the median. So in this case, I've got 14 numbers. So I count up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to put a line right between those. So draw a line there. Okay, find the median. My median is then just going to be 5 plus 6 divided by 2. So an average of those numbers, which is 5.5. Okay, next step, we want to find our lower quartile. So I've got my median halfway between. I've got 3 marks here, 3 marks there. Okay, my median without any calculation will be a 3 because that's my middle number there. Same thing will happen in the upper quartile. 1, 2, 3 marks here, 1, 2, 3 marks there. Okay, my median is the 10. Good. Okay, next thing we want to do, figure out the interquartile range. The interquartile range will be the upper median minus the lower median. So 10 minus 3, my interquartile range is 7 in this case. Okay, if I have another data set, first thing to do, yet again, order them from least to greatest. So we've gone ahead and done that. Next step, we want to find the minimum number, read it straight off, 1 again. Okay, maximum number, again, 17. Okay, next step, I want to find the median. Now in this case, I have 13 numbers. So I should be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this number here, I should be able to just have 6 numbers above, 6 numbers below. I don't need to do any calculations in this case. My median is 6, so I'm going to plug that in there. Next step, okay, in this case, because we had an odd number of values, we are going to place a bracket around the numbers above and below the median. So this time we're not going to include the median in our calculations. Okay, so now I have 6 numbers in this bottom half. My lower quartile will be about there. Okay, let's calculate it. So lower quartile, 2 plus 3, the average 2.5. Plug that in there. Okay, upper quartile, 1, 2, 3 numbers here and 3 numbers up top. I draw a line there. So my upper quartile will be the average between 10 and 12. So we found it 11, and we'll plug it into our data set there. Okay, the last thing that we want to figure out is our interquartile range. Interquartile range, yet again, is just our upper quartile minus our lower quartile. So 11 minus 2.5, and we get an interquartile range of 8.5. Okay, example 3, I want you guys to try this, and then we'll go over it in a minute, okay? So pause your video, and here we go again. Okay, so we've got our data set. First step, we should have ordered it from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that. Next thing, we want to find where our median is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So our median should be at 6. So I've got 3 and 3. This should be my median right now. I've got an even number of values. So I draw a bracket around those values. Okay, good. And my median would then be, let's go X-min. It is 2. My maximum number, 21. My median, the average of 6 and 7, right there. Okay, so it's 6.5. Lower quartile, just right there. The average between 3 and 4 is 3.5. And the upper quartile, the average between, do I have that right? 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. The average right there. Okay, so the average between 11 and 12 is 11.5. Okay, to find the interquartile range, we want to find the value of the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So 11.5 minus, I've got a bit of an error there. Okay, minus should be in this case 3.5. Oops, 3.5. Okay, so that should be what? That should be 8. There we go, and that's how to find the quartiles, the lower quartile, maximum upper quartile, and the interquartile range.